But what's really interesting about this conversation I was having regarding prostitution was this came off the back of me saying that the thing people don't want to recognize is, and this is going to be very controversial to say, but marriage also is sex work, because a lot of women, what they're doing.
Somebody please take her microphone away immediately. Somebody. First and foremost, to take advice from an individual dressed like this is insane. I just got to get that one off the top. To take life advice, let alone marriage specific advice about your marriage, the most important relationship you will have in your entire life, because it is the one that then spawns the other most important relationships you have in your entire life, i.e. your children. We're going to take that advice from somebody with the damn spread eagle tatas and the bonnet head hat flat top combo. That's what we're going to look. Okay. No, we're going to let her cook until she burns the entire meal. Let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
Regarding prostitution was, this came off the back of me saying that the thing people don't want to recognize is, and this is going to be very controversial to say, but marriage also is sex work, because a lot of women, what they're doing is, and this is controversial to say,
I'm going to have this. Let's have this.
In your definition where you said earlier, prostitution, where like sleep with a man, you get money, or you hang out with him, you get money. Why I say marriage is prostitution is because what happens is women engage in marriage from a place where, okay, ideally, he's gonna take care of you financially, and there's a home for you both to live in.
Tell me you've never had a healthy relationship dynamic without telling me you've never had a healthy relationship dynamic. That's what this is giving right now. This is giving, I have never had a intimate relationship. I'm not talking about an actual relationship. She's had plenty of those, because I'm guessing she's in the business. She's, this is her type of work. I mean, looking at this outfit, this might be her church outfit right here. This might be the most modest thing she has in her entire wardrobe. You understand me? This is it. This is what you're getting. This is the meet mama for the first. That's that outfit. But this sounds like somebody who does not understand the nuances of an intimate, connected, close-knit relationship. And unfortunately, there are many people who have never had that. So sure, this may actually resonate with some folks. 24 million views on this damn video, folks. 24 million. And I know if it's from 2024, but 24 million views within a 6-7 month range. There are individuals who resonate with this message because there are individuals who have never had a real relationship before. And that breaks my heart, because these sorts of individuals, these sorts of people will then become their voice of reason. When I call out things such as the behavior, some of these OF models, quote unquote models, these digital streetwalkers who are being given all this sort of attention, the reason I bring those subjects up and why I even give them any light at all is because I understand that when you allow a message to pervade, when you allow that message to permeate, when you allow a message to continue to be normalized over and over again, and there is no challenging those ideas, there is no shaming of those ideas, then you're going to have what is the pedestalization of those ideas. Those are going to be the things that other young women are looking towards. They look at a Lily Phillips or Lily Rose or whatever the hell the 304's name is. They look to that person. They look to a Bonnie Blue, and they take that as something to aspire towards. That's how that happens. When we don't do our job of shaming this sort of behavior and calling it out for exactly what it is, that's what happens. I don't agree with a single thing she has said so far. Not a single thing. And I've not watched this video to completion. I have not watched the entire thing. I'd only seen a snippet way back in the day. And when it came time for me to speak on this subject matter, I said, we got to bring this back to life. Because what I've seen in the last few years is the state of quote unquote modern relationships become I would say a cesspool. And I know it's not everybody, and I can't even say it's most people, but it's enough to matter, where people are having these surface level, superficial relationships. They have superficial standards. I mean, the pop the balloon, the pop the balloonizing of relationships, I guess you could say. Like we have this, everything is external. Everything is about what do you have? How do you look? What do you have? How do you look? As opposed to who are you? Girls don't even know how to vet for a man. Dudes don't even know how to vet for a chick. They have no idea. They're looking to say, well, I mean, she was thick, she was cute, she was this, she was that. But did you not factor in whether or not this is somebody that can raise your child, that you would procreate with? Oh, I mean, well, he was fine. He was 6 feet. He was, 6-pack and 6 figures. Yeah, but who is he? Well, girl, no, that's not who he is. That's what's projected out into the world. That's the image. That's the most superficial aspect of who this person may be. And likely is not. Likely people are hiding behind many of these superficial aspects of them, quote unquote, themselves. So I'm gonna let her cook the damn meal until she burns the entire house down.
And what you are doing is you're fulfilling a role. So you're going to either be some sort of like homemaker, homekeeper, you're raising and rearing the kids, and you are partnering with him and sleeping with him in the hopes that the trade-off will be that you get validation, love, and upkeep. And the man understands and believes that if he continues to fulfill that role for you, then the arrangement works, because marriage is an arrangement. Now, why I say it's is because whilst it's not necessarily on the surface, you're looking for a transactional exchange, there's something that you're looking for.
But then there's the basis of a relationship. I guess the reason why prostitution is because it's just,
this is her trying to normalize. That's all that is. And this has been going on for a long time. Mind you, I'm not one of these S work is real work. It's not real work. It's S work. It's street walking. It's selling one's body. It's degenerate. It's degrading. It's undignified. We can try to unshame it, normalize it. It doesn't change it from being exactly what it is. But they deserve to be human. No, I get that. They're humans and they deserve the dignity in which they stand in. I deserve the respect in which I deem from how I live, how I move through life. If I'm moving through life as a deceptive, scamming, lying, cheating, vile individual, and that's how people receive me, then by golly, that's exactly what I deserve. So if people are looking at you like you are a streetwalker and nothing more, it's because that's exactly how you're moving through life. Oh, but she might have a good heart. She might be doing this, doing that. Okay, then she's a streetwalker with a good heart. Then she's an S worker with the good. Then she is essentially a self-objectifier with a quote unquote good heart. I don't even know how you can have a good heart when you are so essentially devoid of your own humanity to even have enough respect for your own body, enough respect for your own humanity, enough respect for your spirit that you will intermingle in that way and you will sell yourself for a couple of shekels. You know, you may be a kind person, you may be a nice person, but there's something at the heart level that is off. So again, are you going to be respected? Likely no. There's a reason why a wife is a wife. And I don't just mean a woman with a ring on her finger. Me and my girl are walking downtown today. And there's a group of women who, you know, have these little hats with peas on their antennas, literally man junk on the antennas. And I'm like, what the hell is this? And I guess they're doing some sort of bridesmaid, whatever nonsense. And then all of a sudden you see like another group later on, and the bride is in the street twerking to some dude who was like street drumming and stuff. We're in a real active part of town. Dude was drumming and she just starts twerking in the street amongst her homegirls. And, you know, my girl she's not the one. Like, what in the hell is this nonsense? And we walk by and I was like, imagine being the man who was about to marry this woman. You don't even know what the hell's going on. There's a woman, she's twerking in the streets. Twerking in the streets. Imagine what the hell else she is willing to do. She's defiled already. That's not a wife by character and by virtue. That's a person who's about to have a wedding and about to have a ring on it. To be a wife or to be a husband, that is a criteria. You must fulfill certain protocols. You must be a certain type of person. That's why if you're somebody who doesn't know if you can be in a relationship but can be faithful, you're not ready to be a wife. You're not ready to be a husband. You're not. If you're not ready for a grown folk relationship where you can give your whole self and you can actually be faithful, you can be loyal, you can build, you are emotionally mature enough to handle that sort of dynamic. If you don't have those aspects carved out yet, don't even touch that. So that's why, can I be surprised that a real life streetwalker is having this sort of perception on marriage? Absolutely not. Because there's a lot of little girls running around here or women, quote unquote, having that very same discussion and discourse. Oh, marriage is slavery. Is that right? Equally yoked is slavery. Okay, that's interesting. Go ahead and tell that to the real slaves.
And it's nothing but sex. So you get this, you go. Whereas a marriage, to even get to the marriage, there would have been a build of a relationship, friendship, gone through a few things, families involved. Maybe you might even have kids now. So I think that's why that would be the
people
difference.
wouldn't understand that. And why I'm fascinated by that is because what people really miss out on in that conversation and in their opposition to the idea of marriage being a form of sex work is once you stop being able to render that service to the man, he leaves you. So, for example, I've seen countless situations where the woman has gained weight after.
She has a skewed perception as well, which I completely understand. And many of us do. We have warped perceptions based upon our own belief systems, etc. So she has this belief because she is a streetwalker and because she deals with these sorts of guys. She deals with the degenerates as well. She deals with the gooners, etc., right? The creepers. And, there's possibly a large population of these men. She deals with them. So she sees it as, well, look, this is going to happen anyway. I mean, that's all I see all day. Yeah, of course it's all you see because it's the business that you're in. If you're a police officer, you see the worst of people in most cases. If you are a nurse or a doctor, you see some of the most tragic situations, of society because you are in the context of a hospital. In the context of the hospital, everybody's sick, everybody's broken, everybody's in need of help, etc. If you're working at the damn, I don't know I was about to say the kindergarten or something, but schools have gotten real weird for some reason. But there are certain environments that I could, let's say, pinpoint where you could say, well, you would just have this kind of, the best sort of idea about humans. You believe that all humans are just good and always looking to do good, etc. Maybe you're a certain type of person, you got a lot of money or something, and everybody's always smiling around you or something like that. Like it creates a certain level of perception of how people actually are. And I say people just are. So you have good, you have bad, you have damn near indifferent. All of it exists. And you can choose to affiliate yourself with whichever world that exists. But yeah, that's very telling right there.
To having children, and the man has decided he doesn't want to be with her anymore because either her libido has lowered, so she's no longer interested in having sex. She doesn't feel good about herself. She doesn't want to have sex. So that man moves on, or the woman becomes disabled or becomes sick and needs long-term care from her husband, and he leaves because he can't be asked and he doesn't want to do that and he can't have sex with her anymore. So what I've observed is that once men stop seeing you as the person that can fulfill that transactional need that they want from you, their energy switches up very quickly.
Do you think that's the case majority of the time?
That's a great question. I can probably just link the entire. I'm not gonna get into the entire thing at all, but I'm gonna make sure just to save this little piece right here so y'all can check out. Because I am interested to hear the answer that she has to that. But I will say that no, of course not. That's not all of the time or most of the time. Again, it's like a person who cheats believes everybody else is cheating. Well, everybody else does it. So, I mean, when I do, why is it a problem? No, not everybody else does it. That's your skewed perception from your own vantage point because that's what you do and what you engage in. Or maybe you're somebody who went through that trauma and therefore you kind of, You project that onto everybody else. Surely everybody else must be doing the very same thing that happened to me in order to create that defense mechanism. But folks, yeah, this is troubling on one side, but it gives me hope that at least the conversation is being had out loud and people are questioning it. Like, why are we talking about S work seriously? So let me read out some of the comments here. Why are we talking about S work seriously? Whatever comes out of their mouth is just as bad as what is going on. Yeah. Be with who you want to be with in such a way that aligns with you both. That's it. It's really this simple. This is such a poor interpretation of two people making a commitment to become one before God. Exactly. That's not factoring in that there are those who make a commitment under God. There are those who make a commitment to each other, not even in the religious context, but there is still a divine connection there. And for some, they just can't wrap their heads around it. Too much trauma in the way. There's just too much that is blinding them from seeing the beauty of a relationship and what it can actually be. Yes, it is risky. Yes, you can get hurt. Yes, many things can happen. But guess what? You could also have a beautiful union. You could also have a beautiful relationship. That could also come out of that. And that's something that I stand on and stand for. And I want to help people cultivate and develop within themselves, because it always starts with the individual. You can't have two halves to make a full. You got to have two fulls or two wholes to make, a complete relationship. So let me just read out a few more. I think I understand why she said it, but I think the fact that she is an S worker, making people mad. I mean, not me necessarily. I just say, it does mean that you have a deep rooted bias from where you're standing. Let's be clear. Having responsibility in a relationship doesn't make it S work. Yeah. Our generation is idiotic and overly degenerate. So, of course, people who have very limited life experience would say this. This comparison really says everything I need to know about the people partaking in this conversation. Facts. P work or S work. Trying to reduce marriage to their level. Yep. In a marriage, you make love to your spouse. Oh, yeah. You make love. It's true. With a S worker, open her legs, do whatever you want, pay, boom, Jezebel spirit. Yeah. Okay. That's a small minority, but what do you say about the people who strictly get married out of love? Yeah. This is basically saying you see your whole world, your whole life as a S worker. Why is it that they just sit down and discuss S always? Yeah. This one, stupid A lady, but she's from the UK. They're not even real people. Come on, guy. Where to tidy up. These bees need to be with the white man. That's a black woman was saying that. Okay. This is such an intellectually lazy take, equating people consciously entering a partnership and exchange values with exactly. That's another point. Exchange values. We come together on the basis of we stand in the same place. So if like the most idiotic man or woman is the one who chooses off the basis of something very superficial. You can give me the draws and I'll give you the dough. That is a recipe for disaster for long-term relationship. Instead, you're looking at the value system. What do they stand on? What do they stand for? What do they believe in? Do those things align? What do we have projected into the future? Do we want the same things, etc.? Those things are going to make for the best relationship dynamics. So when you're thinking from the context of this trade-off of like, I give you this physical thing, you give me that physical thing, that's an animalistic view of things almost. Again, I believe it's a trauma response and a trauma-based thing when you're creating relationships or seeing relationships from that standpoint. A lot of gold diggers, at least what I've perceived, is that a gold digger is oftentimes somebody who grew up with a deficit of financial resources, who then uses this defense mechanism of like every relationship is to do with what financially can they gain first, or the opposite, which in the house, love was demonstrated through giving of things. So that's how they see love being shown or reciprocated. So, those two extremes could lead to that personality type. And so a person would sell their body. They would do these sorts of things because of that scarcity that they likely, endured throughout childhood. So anyway, that being said, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Y'all give y'all takes on this one. This is a real interesting conversation, to say the least. Till the next time. Oh, by the way, y'all notice a new little setup. Damn it. By the way, sometimes y'all see me do this. I'm getting used to my new camera. It has motion sensors. So when I do this, it starts to track me and follow me, whatever. Anyway, new office space. I'm trying out for volume and sound. I'm trying out for, color, richness, context. We're gonna make sure to get some on this little wall right there, this little wall right here. This is my little setup. I just decided to finally invest and just go all in and say, you know what, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do it all the way for real. I'm in a office with other people. It's a share a space, so other people got their offices. Sometimes you might hear noise bleeding through, you might hear voices or whatever it is. It's not in your head. It might just be leaking through the mic. I'm gonna do my best to make it the best experience for all of us, right? So don't mind all of that going on. We are going to build towards actually building a office, really a studio more than an office. Actually, that's the dream that I have projected, is to build a studio, an insulated space dedicated to exactly what we do here. So yeah, we're building together. We're in this together. This is my little humbler home for right now. Till the next time, peace. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Now, if you'd like to stay around, make sure to click that little subscribe button down there, or you can show some love by going to the description below and clicking on the button titled Buy Me a Coffee. Leave a little something there, or click on the Cash App. Leave a little something here. Till the next time, peace.
I fell in love with the sunshine. I fell in love with the light. I fell in love with the full moon. I fell in love with the night. I can see the light again. I can see the light. You can see the life in him illuminate the night. I know the time is taking.